You are listening to EPT 100 Days, a podcast I developed for you to easily access targeted forgiveness and affirmation statements. I'm Sherry Hamilton, holistic emotional therapist at EPT Works Huntsville. EPT is short for Emotional Polarity Technique, an innovative, holistic emotional therapy that will change your life for good. 100 Days of EPT, Day 79. I choose to feel. Think and speak aloud, I choose to feel. This podcast is the first in a series of 5 focused on your transformation into living a healthy life. You will become aware of your self-sabotage patterns of coping with food and other distractions you have used to stop yourself from your power and choice in dedication and discipline for healthy living. This first episode is about choosing to feel. This is important in living a full life with a full range of emotions. I want you to allow yourself to feel. In choosing self-transformation, you will likely be facing difficult feelings that you have pushed down with food or other distractions. Please give yourself personal space and time to reflect on and resolve your feelings that are emerging. This is an important step in your transformation. It is how you deal with your inner world in a different way than you have been dealing with your inner world. You begin by renewing your mind. Your balanced thinking opens space for you to experience creating a new relationship with food and movement as your mind and body reset and work for you. Your transformation doesn't happen in one day or one mini session of EPT affirmations. It takes your attention and your dedication for creating a different experience for yourself. As you face this challenging transformation in your life, you realize that you can face tough situations with spiritual resources. You can use spiritual truths to renew your thinking. That inner transformation will express itself in your outer world experience. You are able to show up for yourself and for others with focus on living a full life of love. Your increasing healthy self-identity and your honesty with who you are in your own power grows your confidence in your ability to daily make healthy choices in eating and activity. These affirmations support you making conscious choices that are good and healthy every day. It gets easier to quit emotional eating that can never fulfill or add to your ongoing creation of being your best you. It gets easier to remain committed to daily mental and physical exercise. It gets easier to pay attention to living life with intention and purpose, growing in spiritual strength and fullness. Living in healthy balance is more than just foods or body image. It begins with your beliefs, your honesty, and your humility. So while thinking, I choose to feel, place one hand over your heart and one hand over your forehead. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Repeat, taking 2 more deep breaths in and out. Remove your hand from your forehead. Hold one hand over your heart with your thumb under one collarbone and your 4 fingers under the other collarbone. Gently rub spots below collarbones while speaking the following statements. Take a deep breath in and out after you speak aloud each statement. I acknowledge I have places inside of me I don't feel. I acknowledge I am choosing to feel all of my feelings as my way to learn healthy thinking. I forgive myself for believing I can't feel something I have never felt before. I forgive myself for believing I will never feel. I forgive myself for believing I don't know how to feel. I forgive myself for believing I don't have permission to feel. I forgive myself for believing feeling is bad for me or for someone I love. I forgive myself for believing numbness is safe for me. I forgive myself for believing numbness is the best way to experience my life and my purpose. I forgive myself for believing numbness has greater power in my life than feeling and coming into full experience of feeling. I forgive myself for believing numbness is the only way I can face difficulty and complexity in my life. I forgive myself for believing my feelings and my non-feelings can never change. I forgive myself for believing my feelings and my non-feelings keep me connected to people I love. I forgive myself for believing my feelings will separate me from the people I am closest to. I forgive myself for believing I deserve something different in my life than what I have today. I forgive myself for believing I can't love myself or my life because I have been disappointed and let down. I forgive myself for believing I can't trust myself because I get hurt when I trust. I forgive myself for believing someone else has to validate my feelings before I am valued. I forgive myself for believing because I can never have power over someone else, then I must remain powerless in my relationship and experience with food and eating. I forgive myself for stopping my feelings before I experience them. I forgive myself for regulating my feelings by using foods and eating as a distraction from feeling. I forgive myself for giving up my power consciously or unconsciously to feel. I forgive myself for using my unconscious and automatic habit to numb myself to feeling as my source of self-acceptance. I forgive myself for how I have coped with eating and using foods because I couldn't control my inability to increase my good feelings. I forgive myself for feeling self-empowered by my unconscious habit of numbing myself to bad feelings by using food, substances, and eating to distract me from all feelings. I forgive myself for getting stuck in an uncomfortable cycle of self-criticism and perfectionism that leaves me feeling bad. I forgive myself for disabling my power to create a complex solution for myself that I succeed in accomplishing. I forgive myself for blocking my ability to succeed at accomplishing my complex and tough decisions to change my life for good. I forgive myself for using foods as a false source of power to temporarily elevate my mood. I forgive myself for using foods as a distraction from the difficult and complex task of changing my life for good. I forgive myself for believing cultural fantasies about real foods. I forgive myself for believing cultural fantasies about body shapes and sizes that leave me hopeless for positive change in myself. I forgive myself for believing in a life without pain, difficulty, or challenges is an honest and balanced life. I forgive myself for believing I can deny my life moving forward by stopping my feelings. I forgive myself for giving up my power of feeling to choose expansion of love and resilience to try again. I forgive myself for being disappointed with experiences in my life that have left me sad and apathetic. I forgive myself for blaming myself for experiences in my life or someone else's life that I couldn't control, and for holding on to hurt and low self-esteem as a result. I forgive myself for using self-blame or guilt as a reason to limit my ability to choose forgiveness and new life dedication. I forgive myself for believing I must project the physical look of a person I feel close to. I forgive myself for believing I am bound by loyalty to carry on my family food rituals as a source of identity and grounding. I forgive myself for changing my feelings about my concept of my spiritual identity and my body image and the way I nourish myself. I forgive myself for holding on to a projected image of how I look and nourish myself that matches my beliefs about who I am attached to. I forgive myself for pouring all of my lack of trust onto food and eating issues in my life. I forgive myself for unconsciously living through dysfunctional eating and food relationships as my source of power in my life. I forgive myself for unconsciously looking away from relationships in my life where I had no power and feeling powerful with food. I forgive myself for shutting down to my feelings now because I hate who I am. I forgive myself for believing I can never love who I am. I forgive myself for believing I can love who I am. I forgive myself for holding on to self-hate to keep me from feeling self-love and acceptance. I forgive others for teaching me cycles of coping and dependency that have created imbalanced thinking about illness, disconnection, and disability in my life. I forgive others for giving up on their power to source their potential for good. I forgive others for holding me responsible to maintain helplessness in their lives. I forgive others for using me to keep themselves from feeling. I forgive others for blaming me for their problems, illness, disconnections, or disabilities in their life. I forgive others for believing cultural representations of a standard of body perfection that doesn't exist. I forgive others for believing in non-foods as a source of nourishment and feelings of happiness. I forgive others for believing in the foods and food rituals of our ancestors as a source of identity and power. I forgive others for valuing foods and rituals above connection and attachment feeling needs. I forgive others for believing foods are feelings. I forgive others for replacing feelings with food in my relationship with them. I forgive others for using foods and rituals as a substitute for unexpressed feelings and for teaching this to me. I forgive others for being critical of my need for feeling and expanding into a new life experience. I forgive others for devaluing my innate resource and expression of my own feelings. I forgive others for passing on the coping of numbness to feelings that they didn't know how to deal with. I forgive others for making my ability to feel difficult and devalued. I give others permission to forgive me for choosing to heal my life with balance and wholeness. I give others permission to forgive me for opening myself to feeling what I have suppressed in my past. I give others permission to forgive me for choosing a road less traveled by my ancestors as a right to my life and my unique identity and personal needs. I give others permission to forgive me for having a learning curve in relating to them through my transition to healthy balance with my changes in thinking and changes in my choices. I give others permission to forgive me for every time I've blamed them for my own lack of feeling, blame, or helplessness in my own healthy balance. I give others permission to forgive me for believing I could never change for good. I give others permission to forgive me for giving up and giving in to the numbness, the place in me that didn't know why or how I couldn't make the change for good. Without the need to carry on in unhealthy, balance, false connection coping mechanisms, unconscious disempowering beliefs, and distractions of my own feelings, I'm free to let all of this go for new experiences of personal empowerment, feeling, and a range of emotions that I can experience. I'm free to love and honor my ancestors without taking on any of their unhealthy thinking linked to food or food rituals. I'm free to creatively experience expansion in my thinking and my living that is good and balanced for me. Without the need to carry on in unhealthy balance, false connection coping mechanisms, unconscious disempowering beliefs, and distractions of my own feelings, I'm free. I'm free to heal from using false connections with foods as a coping mechanism that distracts me from discomfort in my life. I'm free to say yes to my difficult experience in finding balance and healthy living expression in my life. I'm free to say yes to my past failures and disappointments without being stalled in my balanced self-care now. I'm free to allow myself to forgive myself for my past choices that have made my life difficult. I'm free to allow compassion and care for myself and my need for healing of traumas and stresses that are in my experiences and are part of my complex individual that I am. I'm free to give up being a victim and become victorious in feeling honestly and humbly as I create balance in my life now. I'm free to experience feeling good, accomplishing complex and difficult changes for good in my life. I'm free to experience feeling accomplished and validated that I can succeed at these difficult life changes, and I am created to grow and expand my consciousness with increasing trust and purpose. I'm free to move forward into my own conscious creation of my life for good as I feel the goodness and the gratitude that has always been with me. May you be blessed with honesty and humility in your own beautifully complex and purposeful life. May you easily let go of fantasy extremes and substitutes that can never satisfy or create an authentic, connected experience for you. May you know and experience who you are with kindness, compassion, and creativity. May you proceed in life with care and value, goodness and gratitude toward yourself and others. And may you experience true transformation in living well in newness of life.